Welcome at Pizza and More. The festive season knocks on our doors. It's absolutely in front of us right now, and some of you will definitely go on various parties, or maybe you have your own party at home. Yeah, I'm Jürgen and we make this time a pizza snack which definitely is very welcome on each party. And I promise you everybody will be able to make it. Because we use a normal flour, so not a special pizza flour, which is very hard to get. No, we are using a normal all-purpose flour, and all the other toppings we need, or all the other ingredients we need for our dough and as our toppings are available in a normal supermarket. And of course, we will bake the pizza in the normal kitchen oven. We will make a normal direct dough. Yeah, we can say we make a pizza dough, but with only a leavening time of 6 to 8 hours. I would not recommend to go far shorter with the dough, because then we have to use far more yeast. And as soon we use far more yeast, the taste changes, and then the taste is a bit more into the direction of yeast. Yeah, and after the leavening time, we use a roller pin to stretch this dough, and then we top it with tomatoes, if you want, with ham, with various versions of cheese, with salami, or you can make it also vegetarian. And then we use some herbs, maybe garlic. Then we fold it, we cut it, and then we bake it. And now we make the dough. Here we have the ingredients we need for our pizza snacks. As I already said, this here is an all-purpose flour. I have 500 grams of this flour. Then I have 290 grams of very cooled water, and this leads us then to a hydration of 58%. 15 grams of fine sea salt, 15 grams of extra virgin olive oil, and then I have here 3 grams of fresh yeast. And as I already have said, if you want to shorten the leavening time, you have to add per hour round about half gram of yeast, or if you want to prolong the leavening time, you can reduce a half gram per hour. If you don't have a precision scale, you could, for the fresh yeast, if you take a small ball of yeast and you roll it, and you have then, and this ball has the size of a pea, then it's round about 1 gram. The first we add into the bowl is the water. Of course, you can also knead the dough by hand, but it's definitely easier by machine. As next, we add the flour. And then we add the yeast. And then we start kneading for around 5 minutes. Please don't wonder, with a hydration of only 58%, the dough seems to be very dry. And now we add the salt. And now we continue kneading for additional 5 minutes. And then the last ingredient we add is the olive oil. And then we continue kneading for additional 10 minutes. With this low hydration, I'm not really sure if we are able to make the window test. Yeah, in the meanwhile, I took the dough out of the machine and I make now this window test. Therefore, I take a piece of dough. Of course, you can cover your hands with water or even olive oil. Then the dough is not sticking, but the dough is not sticking normally. And then you can stretch this piece of dough. And here you can already see it's possible to stretch it very thin, which means the gluten structure is built and my dough is ready. And now I make a nice dough ball. Therefore, I do stretch and fold. I take the dough, lift it up, put it back, stretch it and fold it. And then I do this several times. And then we turn the dough several times. And then if we have a nice dough ball, then we take a dough ball box and we place the dough in our box. And then we close the lid of the box to avoid drying out, and then we let the dough rest at room temperature for 6 to 8 hours. And everything is already prepared and the dough looks really absolutely fantastic. You will see the dough in a few seconds. And now I would say we start directly with our snacks. You can see already the dough, how fantastic it looks like. And now it's time to take it out. I will use for taking it out normal flour. Yeah, it's here really recommended to really use enough flour then at the bottom, and maybe we make it on 2 runs, which means I part the dough and I put this one by side. Here it's really important to use enough flour on our counter, otherwise the dough will stick to the counter. Then we directly can stretch the dough a bit to a rectangle. And then we use the roller pin to stretch the dough. We will have a width of around, let's say, 30 centimeters, and then it is as long as it is. Then the first thing we add is tomato sauce. These are passata tomatoes, and I added only a bit of salt. Here we are now adding the tomatoes only to 1/2 of the dough, and we have to be a bit careful to leave this edge here free, because at the end we will close our pie. I think this is enough. Then we add oregano. Then I have here salami. If you want to make it totally vegetarian, for example, you could use olives, which also fits perfectly, or even peppers, or maybe artichokes as well. Then to the next section I add some ham. And I leave this other part free. Here I will have only cheese. Here I have grated mozzarella, and I add the mozzarella now everywhere. Then for me the last topping is olive oil. And now we have to close it. And then, as I said, we have to press the edges together. This makes afterwards the life easier with the finally shaping. And if this is done, I take a knife and I cut parts with roundabout 3 centimeters. Then I use the spatula to take them, and then on the baking tray we have to twist them. And don't worry if they get opened, because this is what we want. Maybe I place the baking tray a bit more here, then maybe you can see it a bit better. I take this piece and then I twist it. And then I have here an egg, and with the egg we brush our snacks. And then we can sprinkle here some sesame seed, or maybe also some Parmesan cheese. And then I have here some Nigella seed. And now we let it rest as it is right now for around 30 minutes. Don't be afraid, it will not dry out because of the egg. And in the meanwhile we will preheat our oven to 220 degrees Celsius, both sided heat. And then after 30 minutes, when the oven is preheated, we take our baking tray, put it into the oven, onto the medium rail, we lower the temperature to 200 degrees Celsius, and then we bake our pizza snacks until they have a fantastic golden color. Then after 30 minutes our snacks are done. Please have a look into the oven, and it could be that it takes a bit longer or even a bit shorter in your oven. If they are nice colored, if you like the color, then I think you can remove them. And here come our snacks out of the oven. Of course, you have to let cool them because in the center, especially the tomato sauce, is extremely hot. Yeah, and I can promise you with those snacks you are heartily welcome on each party. Everybody will love your snacks, I promise you. Yeah, if you like my video, it would be fantastic if you would subscribe my channel. And then we see us also in the next video. Ciao.